Hey Flag fans, I'm Gray, and welcome back to Flag Facts. Today's show is all about the history of what is perhaps America's most iconic symbol, the American flag. The American flag is a symbol like no other and is well known all around the world. For many, it is a source of great pride and a cherished part of national identity, up there with the likes of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Much like the country it represents, the flag has evolved quite a bit over the last 200 years, and in fact, the current design is actually the 27th iteration. But where did the flag come from? Well, it all started here in the original 13 colonies. By the end of 1775, the American Revolution was well underway, and the colonists found themselves in need of a symbol. Enter the colonial colors, aka the Grand Union flag. That's right, folks, the first flag used to represent the 13 colonies actually contained a British Union Jack. While the flag was never officially adopted by the Continental Congress, historians today tend to consider it as the first American flag, and it was used by a variety of American forces and was even flown by George Washington. So why did it contain a British Union Jack? Well, it's not entirely clear, as there are no records detailing its meaning, or in fact, who created it. That said, it is generally thought that the 13 stripes stood for the 13 colonies, and that the Union Jack represented a continued loyalty to the British Crown and a hope for justice from King George III. At this stage of the revolt, that sentiment certainly could have been the case for many of the colonists, as they were still 6 months away from the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Interestingly, the flag was also identical to the flag of the East India Company, though this is generally considered to be a pure coincidence. The East India Company was not well known in the colonies, and it is unlikely that the colonists would have deliberately chosen a symbol that stood for the powerful arm of the British Crown. The first official flag used to represent the colonies was adopted on June 14, 1777 by the Second Continental Congress. Here it is, the first official American flag. The design was approved with little fanfare and was adopted by a brief resolution that reads, "Resolved, that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation." Notably, Congress did not set any dimensions, specify the size of the canton or the field, nor did they say anything about the shape of the stars or the pattern in which they were to be organized. In fact, there is not even a record of who introduced the resolution, or even who came up with the design. As a result, the origin of the flag has been a topic of much debate over the years, which brings us back to Betsy Ross. So, you've probably heard that Betsy Ross made the first American flag at the request of George Washington. But did this actually happen? Well, probably not. The legend of Betsy Ross sewing the first American flag did not surface until 1870, when it was promoted by her grandson. The consensus among historians is that while Ross undoubtedly made flags, it is highly unlikely that she made the first American flag, or had anything to do with its design. Instead, the legend of Betsy Ross seems to be more family folklore than historical fact. So who did actually design the flag? Well, history's best guess is Francis Hopkinson, a signer of the Declaration of Independence, lawyer, artist, and one of America's earliest musical composers. In 1780, Hopkinson wrote a letter to the Continental Board of Admiralty seeking compensation for, among other things, his design of the flag of the United States of America. As a member of the Second Continental Congress, Hopkinson was around at the right time and held a number of positions that certainly could have tasked him with the design. Given that his correspondences are the only known documents from the time that ascribe credit for the design, he definitely is a solid candidate. You may have also heard that colors of the flag have a specific meaning, though, as it turns out, that is not officially the case. The meaning of the colors can be traced back to the personal views of Charles Thomson, the Secretary of the Continental Congress, who was also involved in the design of the Great Seal. Thomson wrote a report to Congress on June 20th, 1782, that detailed the seal's various elements, including his ideas on the meaning of its colors. Thomson said, "The colors are those used in the flag of the United States of America. White signifies purity and innocence, red, hardiness and valor, and blue signifies vigilance, perseverance, and justice." While this was merely Thomson's own explanation, it has often been cited as though it is official government policy. Perhaps the closest thing to an official government description came more than 200 years later, when, in 1986, President Ronald Reagan said, "The colors of our flag signify the qualities of the human spirit we Americans cherish. Red for courage and readiness to sacrifice, white for pure intentions and high ideals, and blue for vigilance and justice." While there is some debate over the origin of the flag, we do know that the design was revised for the first time in 1794 in recognition of the new states of Vermont and Kentucky. Unlike later revisions, the new flag added not only 2 new stars to the design, but also 2 new stripes, bringing the total to 15 stars and 15 stripes. Fun fact, it was a 15-stripe flag that inspired Francis Scott Key to write the now famous words that we know as the national anthem. Today, that very flag is on display in a special, environmentally controlled chamber at the National Museum of American History. In 1818, the design of the flag was once again revisited. Multiple new states had joined the Union since the adoption of the last version, and Congress now had to decide how best to include them in the flag. Ultimately, it was decided that the flag would return to its original 13 stripes, and that only new stars would be added in recognition of new states. In addition, they also specified that new designs would take effect on the 4th of July following the admission of any new state. And over the next 140 years, 30 new states were admitted, resulting in 24 new designs. In 1912, President Taft issued the first executive order precisely describing the appearance of the flag. This marked the first time since its creation in 1777 that an official description of the flag was introduced that clarified what exactly the American flag should look like, and what its dimensions should be. Dimensions were again specified for the short-lived 49-star flag in 1959, and its successor, the current 50-star flag we know today. The current design is the 27th iteration and has 9 rows of stars, alternating between 6 and 5 stars per row. And, like the myth of Betsy Ross and the first flag, the current design has its own embellished creator, Robert Heft. You may have heard the story that the flag was handpicked by President Eisenhower as part of a contest to design a 50-star flag. As the story goes, the winning design was created by a teenager from Ohio for a class project, and that his teacher only gave him a B-. Once the flag was accepted by Congress, the teacher then changed his grade to an A. Unfortunately for Heft, that is simply another patriotic tall tale. Nonetheless, the design is still in use today, and as of July 4th, 2007, it is the nation's longest-serving flag. And there you go. That's everything you need to know about the history of the American flag. So what'd you think? Did Betsy Ross really design the flag? Do you think there will ever be more than 50 stars? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe for more flag-related content just like this. If you're in the market for an American flag, or any other flag, head on over to FlagandBanner.com for all your flag flying needs. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time on Flag Facts.